Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we will be taking into account a book written by Yuval Noah Harari, and the title of the book is 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. So we'll be talking about this book. So let's begin. The book has five parts. Part one deals with the technological challenges, part two deals with the political challenges, part three deals with despair and hope, part four deals with truth, and part five, resilience. Now, in part one, we have four chapters: disillusionment, work, liberty, equality. These are some of the chapters of this book. In a world deluged by irrelevant information, clarity is power. And history gives no discounts if we do not live up to what is expected of us as a race. That is, humanity, if it does not live up to the expectations, then history will give us no discounts. The other books written by this writer, Harari, include Sapiens and Homo Deus. Sapiens deals with the history of man, and Homo Deus deals with the future. And the present book, which we are reviewing, deals with the present day challenges. So the book offers a number of lessons. There are beautiful quotations in the book, of beautiful sentences which one can always memorize and can relish the taste of those sentences. Like philosophers are very patient people, but engineers are far less patient, and investors are the least patient of all. And the liberal story and disillusionment with it. Now, people believed in this myth, or the West believes in this myth, that liberty is something very important. But now, even this story of liberty has become, in a way, questionable, because one finds that true liberty does not exist anywhere. Man enslaves other people. Like, for example, in the modern days, perhaps investors are more important, and they can manipulate people, they can collect data, and they can use that data to suit their ends. So things are there. And the liberal story, he says, has run out of fashion, or it has really been a disappointment. It is not working well. Saji. So he offers certain solutions. I'm just reading some of the quotations which he has given, and he says, "Become a link in the great chain of human kindness." That is, if you start doing some good deeds, that would be something good for mankind. If you are really in love with someone, you never worry about the meaning of life. So love is presented as a panacea of many ills. When you are in love, you can see infinity inside two sparkling eyes. So this is something which gives a boost to your life. This is worth living if you are in love. Or if you love some ideology, if you love knowledge, if you love justice, then life becomes livable. Then he discusses, in history, the roof is sometimes more important than the foundations. What he means by that is that sometimes there are certain stories and narratives on which everything is built. Like, for example, the word is on the shoulders of an elephant, and the elephant is on the shoulder of a turtle, and so on and so forth. So he says, if one goes deep down into the stories, then the foundations are very shaky. You only exist on the roof, and you can only benefit from the superficial outline given in the story. So this is in context of disillusionment. Now, some lessons which I have found interesting and useful. First is, he became creative only once he started practicing meditation. And he says that he daily practices 2 hours of meditation. And he goes in for the Vipassana meditation. And he says that he has been on it since 2000. So 21 years have passed, he is working on meditation. So meditation is a tool for observing the mind directly, because mind doesn't get under your control. Do whatever you may read so many books, you may do so many philosophical works, you may carry out research work, but sometimes the mind becomes vagrant and it starts running on its own course. So one has to first discipline his mind, and that can be done through meditation. Then he says practicing objectivity can be useful. Finding the larger meaning of life, yes, throughout ages, man has been wondering why he has been sent to this world, what is the purpose of his creation, what is he supposed to achieve in life. Then he talks about education in the fast moving world, that whatever we are teaching our children at the moment may become redundant in the next 10 years. Then he talks about the challenges of the technology, beware of mind hacking and the algorithms making up our mind for us. Like you see, we have become too much dependent on technology. If we are traveling, we have to look at Google Map, and Google Map sometimes ditches us also. But love is a universal remedy for all problems. So these are some of the lessons. But in this context, I would also like to mention that there is a book written by Allama Sayyid Jawad Naqvi, Man in Search of Man. It is a 90-page book. I think it has not been translated into English. It is in Urdu. It gives us very concrete answers to many questions. Now, Harari has posed some very relevant questions, very pertinent questions. But being a human being, he is fallible. He cannot give us the solutions to all the problems because it is not his domain. It is not the domain of any person to give solution to problems. It is the domain of the creator. So let us look at the substance of what is there in Man in Search of Man. And we find that in this book, which is a very short book, 90 pages in all, there are 3 chapters. First of all, ignorance of man is discussed. Man basically is ignorant. He is dependent on divine guidance, on the revelation received through prophets, etc. So in the first, it is discussed that it is not for man to understand what is his purpose. It is God who tells us. Once God created man, he also gave us the manual for this creation, and that is in the form of the divine books. And now the latest and the most modern is the Holy Quran. So if one wants to seek guidance, if one wants to come out of ignorance, one has to consult the Holy Quran. So in the first case, it is clear that man is ignorant, but he can learn. And then man must know what is his identity. His identity will determine with what is he attached, or what is his passion, or what is his obsession. That determines the identity of man. A man must know what is his mission. Man must know what he has been created for. Then the third chapter deals with the potential and growth of man. So if man fits in the cosmic design and is in line with what God wants man to do, then one can grow, one can acquire knowledge also, and one can know that his identity is woven with that of God. Okay, if you remember God, you will be remembered. If you forget God, you will be forgotten. You are a part of the Creator. You can't detach yourself from the Creator. So we come on to awareness. Is the one who is aware equal to the one who is not aware? The first step towards awareness is knowing oneself. The one who knows himself knows God. In verse 19 of Surah Hashar, it is given, the one who has forgotten God will forget himself.